All right, so on to the next recipe. We're doing a take on classic French cassoulet.
What's a cassoulet?
Cassoulet, what's a cassoulet? So cassoulet it's kind of like a stew, like a slow cooked stew. It typically has a legume, or like you can use a lentil or a white bean, some sort, and it usually has some sort of protein. So classically they'll put like a sausage in there. You can use chicken. You can keep it completely vegetarian. There are no rules, but the main thing is that it's a very rustic dish. It's a one-pot dish, and it's utilizing what you have in the fridge, which are my kind of recipes.
Get rid of all those leftover bits.
Yes. So I decided to change up the ingredients a little bit today, and I encourage you to do the same. So if you don't like anything here, just switch it up. Keep the same kind of template so that it comes out, but other than that, you can change up all the ingredients. So I'm doing sort of like a sticky soy honey glazed chicken, and I have some chicken thigh. Chicken thigh is probably one of the best bang for your buck in terms of protein in the grocery store. Yes, it's a little bit higher in fat, but in terms of the price point and in terms of what happens as it slow cooks, it is absolutely incredible. It is tender, shreds apart. It's a beautiful ingredient to use.
I always recommend it for some of my head and neck cancer survivors that I see, because just that extra little bit of fat really makes it moist, and especially when you slow cook it, it just falls apart in your mouth. It's absolutely delicious.
Really, really nice.
Much easier to chew than some of the, if you do a chicken breast, it can become really dry.
Yeah, and you can feed, just as many people, if not more, for the same prices as if you did like one chicken breast or something like that. So it's a really, really good item.
Good value.
So we're gonna start by marinating this. Again, you can choose your own marinade. There's a light soy sauce here. I have a little bit.
So by light you mean lower sodium option?
Low sodium option.
Yeah, you can definitely find that in your store.
It's a little bit of honey. And what I did while I was talking is just zested a lime. Just wash them very well. If you can find organic limes too, that'll work. And that zest is going to give it a whole bunch of flavor there. And we're going to add, this is something not everybody has. You can use this regular fresh ground black pepper. This is Szechuan pepper, which has, it's a little milder in terms of the heat that black pepper has, but has like a smokiness almost to it. It's a really, really nice ingredient to use, and you can find it in most grocery stores now. And you can either grind it, or we're just gonna add just a little bit to the marinade. We're gonna get that lime back, add a little bit of that juice.
No lime will go to waste.
No lime will go to waste.
No lime unturned. No lime left behind.
Very
I like
good.
it.
Very good.
Anybody from the audience?
More lime puns. And I'm gonna just chop up some red chili if you want to keep this heat-free, then you don't have to add the chili.
Yeah, it depends. For some people, if you have mouth sores, you definitely want to stay away from the spicier items. If you are experiencing some taste changes due to treatment, sometimes doing some spice can really waken things up for you. So definitely experiment before you put it on the whole recipe. Try it, a little bit afterwards. You can even saute maybe some of those and add a little bit so that you can see if that's something you enjoy before you add it to everything.
And that's it. We're just gonna let that sit. If you have the time, do this ahead of time, even the day before. This is fantastic. Leave it in the fridge. Let it marinate overnight. Even if it's just half an hour or an hour, that'd be fine. So we're gonna let that sit. We're gonna assume that an hour has passed, and that's ready to go. And we're gonna get.
We need a clock that will just.
Yeah. You give you two options, and I put both directions down. So slow cooker, this is fantastic. You throw all the ingredients in there. You set it on high for 3 to 4 hours, or you can set it on low for 6 to 8 hours. So it depends how much time you need to waste, or if you want to come back from work.
My crock pot's on right now.
Yeah.
Doing some beans. So I gotta do an 8-hour day and get back there.
But if you don't have a crock pot, and I gotta save it for the last recipe, so you can definitely do it in a regular old oven-safe pot. This is a cast iron enameled, which I use for almost everything. It's one of my favorite types of pots. So in goes the rest of the ingredients. So we have just a little bit of onion. The pot's not even on. All the cooking's going to be done. You could sear the chicken ahead of time if you want to get some nice caramelization. Just keep an eye on it because of the honey. You don't want it to burn because it'll burn a little quicker. So, but otherwise, onions in. We're going to use some. I have some parsnips here. One of my favorites. You can use regular carrot if you want. And legume of choice, I've got some soaked chickpeas. You can use, again, anything, lentils, white beans. If you don't want beans at all, if you're not a fan of beans, then don't add the beans. But especially
I recommend you add the beans.
Recommend, exactly.
If you can tolerate the fiber, of course.
If
They're excellent.
And especially if you're doing a vegetarian, because you don't even have to add the chicken, then at least you get some of that protein, right, from the beans, and it's a little more substantial versus not adding. And green of choice. This is Chinese broccoli. Chinese broccoli, delicious. The closest thing I would probably compare it to is rapini. So it's it's got more of a bite. It's got a lot of flavor. I don't want to say bitter because bitter kind of throws people off. Actually, it's got a lot of flavor. But it's nice to cook it down a little bit to mellow it out. Again, Chinese broccoli you can find almost every grocery store now. So definitely go for that. If you can't find that, try rapini, try kale, anything like that.
Whatever you like. And the Chinese broccoli has a special nutrient called lutein, which helps to protect your eyes. So it helps to lower risk of developing cataracts over time, as well as macular degeneration, which is losing your eyesight due to aging. So great for eye health, and just like the kale, rich in those antioxidant vitamins A, C, and K.
So chicken goes in. Add some of those chilies, lime zest right in there. And we're gonna add a little bit of stock, vegetable stock. You can just use regular water, it's fine as well. But we want a little bit. This is homemade vegetable stock. Yeah.
There's a great recipe for homemade vegetable stock on ELLICSRkitchen.ca. So definitely check that out. It's something that we use time and again in our recipes, and you get all of the nutrients, you can use your food scraps, and you're not getting all the sodium or salt that you would be getting in that store-bought version. Mm-hmm. Plus you save money. Who doesn't love that?
And you don't want to cover it with the liquid. You just need about 1.5 inches of liquid on the bottom. We're going to cover this up. So most of the liquid should still be in there. If you're using a slow cooker and you have it on for 6 to 8 hours, add a little bit more liquid. So add the full, I think I put 3 cups? There, yeah. Add the full 3 cups. If you have just a regular pot, like this is a shallower pot, I don't necessarily need 3 cups. So just depending on the size of your pot. And so I'm just covering, I don't have a lid for this, so I'm just covering it with a little bit of aluminum foil. Just make sure there's a nice tight seal. And this is gonna go into a 350 degree oven for about 1.5 to 2 hours. You can check it at about the 1.5 hour mark with a fork. If that chicken shreds, then it's done. And I'll show you. Started this morning. Had a lot of curious people with their faces pressed against the glass there.
The smell will be wonderful.
Actually, thank you. All right, so there it is there. So you can see that kind of sticky, the honey and the soy gave this really, really nice kind of glaze on top. And if I get a fork, it should, yeah, see it just shreds,
Falls
it just
right
shreds
apart.
apart. Super, super tender. And you have, this is winter, like this is winter comfort food. You have the beans, you have the parsnip, which gives it that little bit of a starchiness, but that sweetness as well. And then those greens as well to bulk it up. Delicious dish, fantastic dish. And it'll come out the same way in the slow cooker. So either way, that is our sticky chicken and chickpea cassoulet.
Beautiful.